What's up, everybody? This is Zacharias here, back with a new Let's Play. This time we are going to be covering one of my favorite RPG games because I always loved RPGs growing up, and that is Avernum: Escape from the Pit. This is actually a remake of the original Avernum game, which itself was a remake of Exiled: Escape from the Pit. Of course, as this version works on more modern machines, that's one we're going to be covering in this Let's Play. But there is a lot of charm and nostalgia in the older games, so I strongly suggest you check that out. And also check out Spiderweb Software in general, because they always make great retro story-based, retro-style story-based RPGs, and it's awesome. So let's just get into some CRPG action with Avernum: Escape from the Pit. We're going to go ahead and start a new game here. Alright, welcome to Avernum. Avernum is a fantasy role-playing game. You will control a band of wandering adventurers, meeting strange people, fighting monsters, and trying to survive. Select the sort of characters you would like to play. If you aren't sure, just take the party that's already been created for you. When you're ready, press the OK button. So yes, we already have a set party for us, but I am going to change it to my preferences, but I'll walk you through the character types. First, you have a soldier. Soldiers received excellent military training on the surface, the best the Empire had to offer. They're very good with all sorts of weapons, and as you can see underneath that, it will show you all the stats they have into each one already, which is really cool and convenient. Then we have a berserker. Berserker are wild swordsmen from the remote areas of the Empire. Their wildness tends to get them dumped into Avernum. They're extremely hardy, and their sword skill is unmatched. The priest is one of the faiths disapproved of by the Empire. They have excellent healing and protective skills, although they often end up having to use them in Avernum. Sorcerers are practitioners of the wizardly arts. Their spells are powerful both on offense and defense. Alas, because of their dangerous research and eccentricities, they tend to be sent down to Avernum. Rogue. Rogues are nimble, good with swords, and able to handle locks and traps. They also tend to walk off with things they don't own. Unsurprisingly, the Empire loves to send them to Avernum. Archer. Archer were either hunters or trained members of the Empire Army, highly skilled with missile weapons. In the Empire Army, a dishonorable discharge tends to mean exile to Avernum. Some people dare to rebel against the Empire. They have to be good at everything if they want to survive. Though they don't have the freedom to excel at one thing, a rebel tends to have some skill with weapons, traps, and lore. Head wizards live in the remote villages of the Empire, where they help the locals with their magical skills. This sort of character is good at magery and has little bits of training in priest spells and first aid. Shamans are the priests of the back hills. A shaman isn't quite as good at spells as a priest, but makes up for it with weaponry and knowledge of healing. Shamans are hardy folk, but their wildness tends to make them run afoul of the Empire. And then custom. Skilled Avernum players can make their own custom characters. Custom characters can train themselves immediately after you start the game. You can train this character as soon as you start the game. So just as my preference, I am going to be doing a custom for this Let's Play. We're going to make all my characters custom. But if you aren't sure, you can just run the pre-built stuff and then go from there. But I am going to run custom since I'm already very familiar with this game. And we're going to use the default portraits, but I am going to name all my characters differently. So this is going to be the story of Xander, Ariadne, Noah, and Beatrix. And I'll get more into the kind of builds I'm going to go for them as we get in. But let's go ahead and get right into it. And here's where you choose your difficulty level. Casual for people who are new to fantasy role-playing games or just want to easily experience the storyline. Your foes are far less threatening. The game starts out quite easy, but becomes a challenge as you get close to the end. A nice, moderate difficulty level. A harder difficulty for the more experienced gamer. Your foes will do more damage and be a lot harder to kill. The ultimate challenge for the warriors of Avernum. You will need to use every trick and fully utilize every ability to defeat the nasty enemies arrayed against you. Alright. Just like with all my Let's Plays, I am going to stick with normal. And here we get right into the story. You are never going to see sunlight again. You will never breathe fresh air. or be warm and dry, or feel safe. This is your punishment. For your crimes, you are to be thrown into a magical portal and banished to Avernum, never to return. Your crime? Nothing as serious as you might think. Not murder, arson, or assault. No. Your crime was against the Empire, ruled by the cruel Emperor Hawthorne. You spoke out against an unjust law, or you angered some minor official, or you may just have been a misfit. The Empire controls the entire surface of the world. All 4 continents have completely submitted to its rule. Not fitting in is a crime in the Empire, so you are being exiled. You are being sent down to Avernum. Avernum is a series of caves far below the surface of the world. It is a dark, subterranean prison, a place where exiles like you spend the rest of their lives far from the light. What is it like there? Nobody on the surface knows. All they know is that it is dark and deadly. It is spoken of only in whispers and only with fear. Some believe that there is no air, warmth, or food, and death comes with merciful speed. Others believe that there is enough sustenance to enable Avernites to endure a miserable, worm-like existence. Until, of course, the monsters get you. And if you believe that Avernum is a paradise, a hard land of freedom, where one can at last be out from under the Empire's iron rule, people mad enough to believe Avernum is paradise soon end up there themselves. They don't really know what it is like. Nobody on the surface does, but soon you will. There is no appeal to the judge's decision. Early one morning, in a stone dome far out on the waste, you are dragged in chains to the shimmering portal. You breathe clean, fresh air one last time, your shackles are removed. Then they throw you in. Alright. And before I continue, just one more shout out to Spiderweb Software for always making great story-based RPG games. Always loved these games when I was a kid, because I first discovered the company through shareware CDs back in the day, and those demos were a lot of fun back then. And so I highly recommend checking them out. Like, I know the style is retro, very basic, but it's still a lot of fun, and the stories are incredible. And Avernum was one of my favorites as a kid, too. But I am playing the second remaster of the Avernum series, because it just works better on modern PCs. But I can't wait to get into this Let's Play with you all. So, let's go ahead and build our party here. You gain levels by completing quests and defeating foes. When you gain level, you gain skill points. You can spend skill points to improve your skills. Press the plus buttons to increase your base statistics, strength, dexterity, etc. Then select skills to the right that you wish to increase. Okay, so my first guy is going to be a pretty balanced fighter. Strength, dexterity, endurance. He's going to be a pure fighter, so we're not going to worry about intelligence, but we are going to focus on the others. We're primarily going to focus on strength, though, and you'll see throughout the game how I will build that. Let's go ahead and run these over real quick, though. Strength, how muscular you are. Improves your chance to hit and damage with melee weapons. Enables you to wear heavy armor without being encumbered. Having more of the skill is of great benefit to warriors. Dexterity, how fast you are on your feet. Improves your chance to hit and damage with missile weapons. Reduces your chance of being hit in combat. Helps you to act sooner in combat. Warriors and archers are aided by the skill. Intelligence, how good you are at thinking things out and solving problems. Increases the character's spell energy and helps to resist charming and other mental magic. Endurance measures how hard you are. The more endurance you have, the more health you will have, and the less poison and other such afflictions will affect you. Also helps you to resist harmful magic. Okay, so for my fighter right here, well, actually, let me walk you through the combat and the magic miscellaneous before I go any further. Alright, melee weapons. Your skill in the use of bladed melee weapons, daggers, swords, and combat increases both damage done and your chance to hit 1% per level. Also makes more battle disciplines available. Pole weapons. Your skill in the use of pole weapons, spears, pikes, halberds, in combat. Increases both damage done and your chance to hit 1% per level. Also makes more battle disciplines available. Bows. Your skill and the use of bows in combat increase both damage done and your chance to hit 1% per level. Also makes battle disciplines more available. Thrown missiles. Your skill in the use of thrown weapons like javelins or razor disc in combat. Increases both damage done and your chance to hit 1% per level. Also makes battle disciplines more available. Hardiness. Hardiness acts like natural armor. Each level of hardiness reduces damage you take from all sources, even magic, poison, and acid. Blade Master makes you far more effective with all blade and pole weapons. Each level increases damage by 3% and chance to hit by 1%. Also helps you recover from fatigue more quickly. Sharpshooter makes you more effective with missile weapons. They will have a better chance to hit and will do more damage. Each level increases damage by 4% and chance to hit by 1%. Gymnastics makes you far lighter on your feet. Each level of the skill gives a 2% chance of evading enemy attacks and a 10% chance of starting combat rounds with a bonus action point. Parry grants the character a 3% level per level chance to reduce damage from a melee or missile attack. Quick action helps you act more quickly in combat. In addition, each level makes fatigues from your battle disciplines fade 5% faster. Riposte gives a 3% per level chance to turn a melee attack back on a foe that is swinging at you. Dual wielding, training in the tricky art of using two weapons at once. Reduces by 2% per level the damage penalty when you have a weapon in each hand. Lethal blow when attacking a foe with a melee or missile weapon. The skill gives you a 3% level chance of doing far more damage. Sniper gives remarkable speed with missile weapons. Gives a 5% level chance of taking a bonus shot in the combat round, and a 3% level chance of inflicting a harmful effect on your target. Mage spells. The ability to cast mage spells. The higher the level of this skill, the more spells you can cast and the more effective those spells will be. Each spell has a minimum mage spells skill needed to cast it. Free spells, the ability to cast free spells, pretty much the same thing as mage spells, of course. Tool use, only for priest. Tool use, how good you are with working with simple mechanical devices, for example, picking locks and disarming traps. Multiple characters can combine their knowledge. Now, this is interesting because in the past, the original Avernum game and the original Exile, you could only put it on one character. So it is interesting that for this one, you can put it on multiple characters and it will work just fine. It's actually way more handy and convenient in my opinion. Cave lore helps you calm hostile monsters, force for treasure, and resist certain unpleasant magical effects. The more it's present in your party, the better the effects. This is actually pretty underrated, so we're going to have at least a few points in that. First aid, at the end of combat, the skill will restore some of your health and spell energy. The more opponents killed during the battle, the greater the effect. The more that's present in your party, the better. This is also an underrated skill because it can actually prolong your stay in dungeons quite a bit. So I don't know why it gets so much hate from other people. I actually think it's underrated. Granted, you don't need to invest in it or train it excessively, but having at least a few points in it is actually very handy. Luck, this helps you whenever something random happens around you, which is often. When your luck is high, everything will go better for your character. This is the only one I don't care for. Luck is very iffy, pretty much in any game I notice. I mean, it might be useful, but I simply don't even bother investing in it at all. Spellcraft increases the effectiveness of all your spells by 2% per level. Arcane lore, how familiar you are with magical lore. Uses the code magical inscriptions of spells. The more of this in your group, the better. Also helps to resist mental effects. Resistance gives a 3% level resistance to all hostile magical effects, both damage and curses, and magical efficiency, your ability to focus your mind, enables you to channel magic more effectively. Whenever you cast a spell, there is a chance that you wouldn't spend all the spell energy you normally would. Alright, so anyway, now that we walked through that real quick, or as quick as I could, we're going to go ahead and build this guy. I'm going to go ahead and make him a pole weapons user. He's going to be more my frontline fighter. He's going to tank a lot. So we're definitely going to invest in the hardiness and parry. And the other skills that will come later, like Blade Master, Quick Action, Lethal Blow, will definitely be added to him. We're only going to put 2 points into bows, though, just so he gets to battle disciplines faster. But we're not going to actually train into this. We are more focused on making them pretty tanky and damaging. So that's why I do that. All right, for the for the miscellaneous skills, we're going to give 1 point to Cave Lore, because you at least want 1 point of Cave Lore. That's very helpful early on, so you're going to want that. And for the trait, no, I'm not going to take the time to walk through every single one of these, because it'll take forever. And also, I do want to get to the story here, but basically, just go over these, and whichever plays to your particular character's strengths, you go ahead and invest. Like, you have Fighter, then obviously go for improved strength, Mighty Blows, Sure Hand, stuff like that. If you have an Archer in your party, then you can go like Sure Aim, Deadeye. And if your fighter is going to be one that works towards dual wielding, you can go for these two right here. And there are stuff for like the Mage and the Priest as well that we'll work on. For now though, I'm actually going to start off with Nimble Fingers. So, because of how you can combine tool use amongst your party, it does help to have the trait Nimble Fingers early on spread across your party, because starting off with the Nimble Fingers trait on each one of my characters will be a total of 4 tool use, which is very handy early on. And as we progress through the game, we will expand upon that, but Nimble Fingers for now. Alright, my second character is also going to be a fighter. Except, unlike my first guy who's going to be a pole weapons user, we're going to actually work towards her being a dual wielder. So she has a little bit more damage to work towards. My first fighter is going to be more durable, you know, be able to tank and all this other stuff, but my second fighter is going to be more damage dealing with dual wielding, lethal blow, stuff like that, but we'll work towards it when we can. And of course, 2 into bows, only because we're going to work towards getting her battle disciplines up. We're going to put 1 in the Cave Lore here. And then Nimble Fingers. And now for Noah. He's going to be a priest. So we're going to put 4 into intelligence, since he's going to be casting 3 spells. 1 into endurance. The only combat skill we're going to be investing in is drone missiles. Just so he has a backup skill, he doesn't need to invest in any other combat skills. If you were going to make more of a shaman type, you would invest more into combat, but if you're making a pure priest like I'm going to make him, then, you know, just one of these is fine. Because there is a battle discipline later in the game that you're going to want on your spellcasters, but for the most part, you are going to be casting spells primarily. Alright, for my priest, we're going to put 2, obviously 2 into there. We're going to put 1 into Arcane Lore. The 1 into Cave Lore here, and 1 into Nimble Fingers. And now, lastly, my sorceress, Beatrix. Alright, she's definitely going to be a pure sorceress, so 4 intelligence, 3 endurance. 1 into thrown missile, so she has a backup skill, although her primary is obviously going to be mage spells. Pretty much the same thing as a priest, except we're going for mage spells instead of priest. Cave Lore, and then Nimble Fingers. So overall total, my party starting off with 4 Cave Lore and 4 tool use because of Nimble Fingers, which is actually, I know that may sound like not much right now, but it's actually very handy. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and proceed with the story now. Slowly your eyes adjust to the dim light. Happily, there is light. The ceiling of the cavern is covered with scattered patches of a fungus that glows with a faint green luminescence. But you are alone. It is cold, damp, and deathly still. All you hear are the echoes of dripping water in the shadows. The loneliness makes the feeling of claustrophobia more powerful. For a moment, you can sense the countless tones of stone above you, ready to, at any moment, crush you into nothingness. You concentrate and overcome the growing terror. There must be someone down here. You'll just have to explore and find them. And remember, you can build your characters how you want. You can even do hybrids, but that is a little bit more challenging than just like a pure fighter. And, you know, in all honesty, you probably could, if you're making like just a pure fighter, you can Probably only invest in the strength, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can ignore everything else, but I am going to be putting pretty much more for like dexterity and endurance as well, just to have it. The only skill I'm not going to invest in my fighters is intelligence, because they don't need it. And likewise for my spellcasters, I'm not going to ever invest in the strength because they don't need it either. Alright, much to your great relief, you finally find signs of human occupation. The gallery to the west is blocked by a wall. Rough stone blocks held together by crumbling mortar. It looks like it has been here for years, abandoned and decaying, but it is something. Less reassuring is a pile of bones between you and the wall. They look like they came from a small humanoid. Perhaps a goblin. They too have been here for a while. On the floor near them, someone discarded a crude cloak. Scraps of leather roughly stitched together. On the surface, you would have ignored the disgusting thing. Down here, with the coal seeping into your bones, you decide that you would be better off wearing it. Alright, stand near the cloak by the bones and press this button or you get them. So yeah, gotta take what you can get, right? The cloak is crude and dirty, but it is warm. You suspect that everything in the underworld is going to be crude and dirty. So you'd better start getting used to it. On this side of the door, at last you can hear people. You smell fresh smoke and hear the smuttering of speech. You're too far away to make out what they are saying, but they are to the west. Keep moving west. If you want to switch back to the faster movement style of the previous Avernum games, you can change this in the settings window. I already have my settings adjusted the way I want it, so I'm not going to worry about that, but you can change to different settings if you wish. Anyway, there are 3 people ahead, crouched around a dim, smoky fire of burning fungus. They are rolling dice, gambling over a handful of copper coins and leather garments they scavenge in these caves. Then their sharp ears detect you. They leap to their feet and spin to face you, drawing their blades. They are Nephilim, scrawny and hungry specimens, but dangerous nonetheless. Nephilim are a proud tribal race that once filled the wild plains of the surface. Then the Empire began to remove them, thinning the few that surrendered into Avernum and killing the rest. This has left them with a vicious hatred of humanity. Even though you share a common enemy, they are still determined to take their revenge upon you. You're about to enter combat mode. Once battle has begun, click on an enemy to attack it. You also get tips about spells and abilities you can use. Okay, my first guy is going to be using pole weapons, so of course he's not going to be like super strong yet. You can use your magic to destroy your foes. Why not try it? Press this button to cast a mage spell. Press this button to select both fire, then click on the target to cast a spell. Casting spells uses up your spell energy. Your spell energy is restored when you return to a friendly town. Oh yeah, I forgot. Here are the battle disciplines right here. We only have access to one right now, which is Will and Blow. A melee attack that seeks out a vulnerable point on your foe, doing extra damage. As we unlock the others, we can introduce you to those. You now have a wounded character. Now is a good time to try a healing spell. Press this button to cast a free spell. Press this button to select minor heal, then click on the wounded character to cast a spell. Blah blah blah, use spell energy, restore to friendly town. Heal some of the damage inflicted on one character, that's minor heal. The spell cures one or more of the non-mental hostile effects like poison and acid afflicting the target, that's curing. Smite calls down wrath upon one of your foes, inflicting a magical blow. Protection, it shields nearby allies. Enemy blows have a lower chance of hitting and will do less damage. Bolt of Fire strikes one foe for a small amount of fire damage. Call Beast summons a single beast to aid you in combat. Cloak of Curses gives your group's attack the chance of putting a random curse on the target. You can only have one cloak at once. Daze confuses all nearby enemies. They will have a chance of not being able to move or attack for a short time. Also pay attention to your fatigue because you can only use the battle discipline again when that runs out. And if you want to skip a character's turn, you can do that. The 3 Nephilim have fallen. 3 senseless deaths. You suspect that they were just sent down here through the same portal you came through. Usually, the Empire sends down the Nephilim through a different portal to a different part of these caves. But, of course, Empire soldiers don't really care what undesirable goes where. Of course, it's also possible that the Underworld is controlled by Nephilim and you will soon be swarmed and enslaved, or worse. Now that the battle is over, press the end combat button to go back to traveling as a group. Alright, so now that that's taken care of, let's go ahead and proceed here. Yeah, some bracers here. I don't want to pick that up yet. Oh, we have armor right here and coins, it looks like. Coins. I prefer not to get anything that doesn't have some value to it. Even armor early on, so we're going to ignore that for now. But we are going to pick up and put this armor in our junk bag, though, since we already have leather armor on, and also anything with value we do want to store in our junk bag anyway. Hopefully by now you get the gist of the game here. I originally wasn't going to do a walkthrough where I introduced you to all the like skills and stuff like that, but that wouldn't really tell you much about the game itself if I didn't read some of that stuff out. So yeah, it's a retro style RPG. Pretty basic to an extent, but still a lot of fun. And the thing with my walkthroughs too is I also want to make my playthroughs about the game itself, so that's why I like reading this stuff out as well. Again, my frontline fighter, Xander, isn't going to be doing much damage yet since I don't have a full weapon on him yet, but we will make do with what we can. Gotta love the sound effects they use, too, for this. Let's go ahead and give that to her since she's going to benefit from a sword anyway. We will go ahead and equip this on him. You know, I debated on whether or not to have my second fighter an archer rather than have 2 fighters, but you know, I decided that 2 frontline fighters is good as well. The cave to the north is divided by a deep pool of foul, stagnant water. There is a man standing on the other side of it, watching you, his sword drawn. Perhaps he can tell you how to get to safety, if there is anywhere safe down here. There is a pool of foul, stagnant water dividing this cavern in half. On the other side of the morass, a human is staring at you. He has a dented, bronze broadsword and a heavy leather jerkin. Your relief at seeing another human is not enough to keep you from noticing the coldness of his gaze, or how he seems to be sizing you up. He gives you a half bow and smirks. I, Lagrin, welcome you to the Underworld. And from the look of you, you are a warrior. Not the weaklings and malcontents we've had coming through so far. You are an Avernite? He laughs, a grim, raspy sound. I would not say that. I don't think that the Avernites are very fond of me right now. I don't like the way you're looking at me. He gives you a mocking little salute with his blade. You are an attentive one, I can see that. Not the usual sort of weakling. You see what I am, yes. So unfortunate that you are trapped down here with me. What do you mean? He points at something hanging around his neck. It's a key. These caves are where all the new human arrivals are supposed to end up. Then the Avernites, noble beings that they are, find you and bring you out and help you. But then I stole this key. I came down here and locked the gates behind me. Now you are all stuck down here with me and my helpers. Why did you come back down here? For wealth and weapons. For first pick of the goods the Empire sends down from time to time. And, of course, for hostages. When we are ready, we will trade your lives for our escape, and we will seize our own part of these caves. He lets out a long, shrill laugh. Perhaps he is not entirely sane. Why are you doing this? Because we are free. Don't you understand? The Empire holds us down no longer. Now, at last, the strong can survive and flourish and make our own new land. Do you think you are tougher than me? Because, if not, you will serve us. What do you think you will get from me? Just intelligence. Now I know how many of you there are and how you are armed. Now my servants will be prepared. He gives you one more little bow, lets out a harsh laugh, and turns to leave. Will not answer to scum like you. He stops for a moment, then he nods. I expected that. You don't have the look of a weakling, or a thug. I suspect you have something in common with the Avernites above. Too much. No, there is something I want from you. Prepare yourself, I will take it soon. He turns and walks quickly into the shadows. Someone has discarded some javelins on the floor ahead. It's always satisfying to fling on a few projectiles ahead before engaging in melee. When you attack, you will use your default weapon. This can be a melee weapon like a sword, or a missile weapon like a javelin or bow. Get the javelins and equip them. You can switch your default weapon by pressing its button to the lower left, or by typing S. Also, don't forget, you can always skip a character's turn in combat by clicking the character or pressing the spacebar. Alright, so let's go ahead and pick up these javelins. Make sure I did this right first. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, my, fighters have experience in bows, and my spellcasters in thrown missiles, so we're going to divide it amongst them. Now, obviously, we're not going to primarily focus on thrown missiles, but they do need a backup skill in case spell energy becomes sparse. The people in the ruined building left 2 flasks of liquid on the table. Perhaps a gift for you, perhaps a bribe to mollify the thugs ahead. These potions might help you if you have to fight your way out. To use a potion, open the inventory window and get a potion. To use an item like a lamp, scroll, or potion, press the sunburst button next to it. Alright, all of my party members started off with one, so we're going to divide it evenly amongst them again. The Avernites built something down here, a crude stone structure that was then left to crumble. 4 people, fresh from the surface, are hiding in the ruins. They look like ordinary people. Farmers and merchants who angered some Empire lord or said the wrong thing when the wrong person was listening. Now they are trapped in the Underworld for the rest of their lives, empty-handed and terrified. Only one of them seems to have kept her self-control. She is a young, stocky woman. She holds a crude spear in her trembling hands. Who is there? Hi. When she gets to look at you, she lowers the spear slightly. You are not one of the thugs, are you? I am Brissa. Are you trapped down here like us? All this fighting is wearing me down. Can you help me? She inspects you and nods. I found a crate of bandages, probably sent down at the same time as we were. I will do what I can. She spent some time bandaging your wounds. Most of the time, you will need to recover from your wounds by using the minor hero spell or by returning to a friendly town. How did you come to be here? The others? She looks at the 3 cowering in the corner. I don't know. They are barely able to talk. As for me, I suppose I was disloyal to the Empire. Will they be alright? Perhaps, if we can get out of these caves and get them a moment's safety. How are you disloyal? He winces. I refuse to give one of their mayors my favor. He decided to take his own petty revenge. And I would not speak of it further. Brissa watches you closely. Her spear is always in her hands. What else do you need of us? I hope you have not joined those thugs. Do you need my help? I would not beg a stranger for aid, except that our situation is desperate. There is a Cretan down here. His name is Lagrin, and he has a pack of brigands and thugs to help him. We can't escape this basement while he blocks the exit. I can't fight him off. I need your help. Can you give it? I will free you from these caves. She nods and looks at the others. For the first time, they look up at you, emerging a tiny bit from the catatonia. I thank you. I knew from the moment I saw you that you were a warrior with honor. We will wait here. He returns to standing guard and watching over the others. Alright, so let's proceed. After your meeting with Lagrin, you aren't surprised to find these people waiting for you. 3 humans who have teamed up with 2 Nephilim. They smirk and raise their blades as you step into the dim light of their fire. As the reek of burning fungus assaults your nose, one of them says, "Well, you knew this was coming. Lagrin let you know what was happening. I hope you're ready. At least you won't be in this pit much longer." We're not going to parley with them. Let's just attack. The thugs honestly thought that they would hear you talk and plead. They weren't expecting someone who would actually fight back. Your charge catches them by surprise. Alright, we're going to go ahead and switch to prone missiles for now, but we are still going to cast spells. Well, that's those thugs taken care of. Alright, anything that you see has value at the top right there, make sure you go ahead and store it in your junk bag. You move cautiously down the corridor. You're past Lagrin's thugs, but their leader is still ahead, and without his key, you doubt you'll be able to escape this pit. This is a good time, if you haven't already, to save your game. I will save it when I get to the point I want, because I actually know what I'm doing here. You round the corner and come face to face with Lagrin, a petty thug with delusions of grandeur. When he gets a good look at you, he realizes that perhaps his plan to build a new empire within Avernum is not going to work out. And yet, he doesn't give in. He stands between you and the locked gate leading to the exit and snarls at you. You notice dark stains around his mouth. Perhaps he has eaten something recently that is tinkering with his brain. He points his blade at you. You got past my warriors? And what? They are dead? Well, I will get more. The Empire sends down more killers every day. Avernum won't take them, but I will. You notice that he is holding something in his offhand, but you can't tell what it is. I've had enough of your ranting. Yes, fight us. We will destroy you. He charges you. His warriors, seeing no other option, regretfully follow him. And I know this seems like a major boss battle, but it actually is very survivable. Like, I would actually be surprised if he did have a character die during this battle. It's too bad we can't spare the other 3 if we take Lagrin out, but oh well. Alright, remember, when your fatigue goes out, you can use another battle this one. Lagrin is wounded. He is bleeding and exhausted. No! You will not stop me. I have one thing I smuggled. He raises his left hand and you can see that he is holding a glass globe. Goodbye, fool. Enjoy your new life of servitude. He smashes the globe against the floor. A cloud of lavender smoke spreads out, choking you, confusing you. Lagrin turns and runs toward the gate, the key in his hand. Lagrin has a free path to the exit gate. He puts his key in the keyhole, turns, and shoves the iron bars. The moment they open a few inches, he slides through and runs upstairs. You immediately hear a commotion coming from above. All right, we're not going to go upstairs quite yet because we still have stuff down here. This is a quest item, so I know, so we're going to pick that up. It has value, but we're not going to sell it because it is quest item. Same with bar of iron. Bag of meal and bar of item are quest items. And speaking of the quest items, I'm going to post a link in the comments for all the quest items that you will need to complete quest. Herbs are something you also want to hang on to as well because you need it for potions and stuff. You don't have to make potions yourself because there are NPCs in the game that will make potions for you. Now, unlike in Avernum and Exile, you don't need to collect food either at all. There are maybe like a couple instances where you're going to need food, but overall, this remake makes it so to where you don't have to use food at all, pretty much, really, except for maybe like a couple like instances during quests and stuff like that. But it is there because I think for aesthetic reasons and for also a little bit of healing, obviously, just to show how the Avernites survive pretty much underground in caves and all this. Radiate ice. These scrolls we're going to go ahead and give to our spellcasters in case they, for instances where they run out of spell energy, they can have a scroll to cast as well. It looks like we explored all we can down here. The last thing to do is to simply go see Brissa again and let them know that they're gone. All this fighting is wearing me down. Can you help me? Lagrin is gone. You can escape now. She is so relieved that, for a moment, you think she might break into tears. But then she starts nudging the others with her shoe. Come on, let's escape while we can. As they rise, she turns to you. I thank you. This has been a rough arrival, but perhaps things will improve. She thinks, but I doubt it. Then she turns and begins to escort the others toward the exit. Alright, with that taken care of, we leveled up. So let's go ahead and level up our characters. Alright. Now, if you notice, for each time you level up, you notice that strength also goes up too. It sort of goes in the order, like when we hit level 2, our strength leveled up automatically. Now, as you level up, next level will be dexterity level up. The level after that, intelligence will level up, and endurance will level up. So all these level up overall. as you play through the game and get levels, as you will see. So if you wanted to be like a pure like strength fighter type, then you can just put points into strength and you'll be just fine. But like I said, I am going to balance it out a little bit. Although strength overall is still going to be my primary anyway. But yeah, and it keeps going in order. Which each time you level up, it will either level strength, then dexterity, then intelligence and endurance each time you level up. So just pay attention to that and you can build accordingly if you wish. Since strength leveled up, let's go ahead and level this up. We'll level pole weapons and we'll level hardiness because he's going to need the hardiness. And we're going to improve strength again this way. Same for her. Pretty much, except she's a melee weapons user. Let's level up intelligence and then we'll level up intelligence again since spell energy can become sparse, so you want to get as much spell energy as you can. And also, if you pay attention to your pre-spells, the maximum net level of pre-spell skill you need is 17. So once you hit 17, you don't have to go beyond that. And the same with mage spells as well. And as we gain more spells, I'll walk you through those. Alright, so let's do the same thing for her. We'll level up mage spells, and we level up this, and we'll level up intelligence. So, yeah, pretty even. Since all my characters are pretty much going to be peers at what they do. If you want to make a hybrid sort of character, you can do that. It's just a little bit more difficult when it comes to like hybrids, because the game isn't like super friendly to hybrids. But, you know, if you want to go ahead and do that, you simply can. Let's go ahead and head out here. I think you can win with pretty much almost any party. It's just that the game is more generous to some parties more than other. I am sticking with the standard like 2 fighter, 2 spellcaster type of build. Although I could have made my second fighter an archer instead and just made this guy a fighter, but you know, I wanted to have 2 frontline fighters for my playthrough. And I really did give it some thought before I actually started this Let's Play too because I have played this game a lot. Alright, with that in mind, that's going to do it for this part of Let's Play, but I will see you all very soon with the next part. I cannot wait to cover more of Avernum Escape from the Pit with you all. So I will see you all very soon with the next part.